Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to my incredibly delayed patch review. Yeah. So, basically I meant to do this last week, but when I was recording the video I discovered I couldn't really talk, so that was a thing. But this, and by the way, because my throat's still a bit sore, I will mute myself to cough every so often. But, yeah. So, the fact that this is delayed... okay. Still sick. Can talk though. So, the fact that this video is delayed actually kind of helped, because it means I got to test everything. So that's nice. Well, not quite everything. Some stuff I didn't get to, but you get the idea. As a result, I've got some more in-depth things than I did when I just went over the patch quickly when I did it on stream last week. So, instead of having the patch notes open, I'm going to read off the patch notes and then show what they are in game and then go from there. Now, first things first, friends and chat. This is this little menu down here. This comes up, it's got idle, playing game is yellow because they're busy, and then offline is red. I have lots and lots of people on my friends list so far. So a lot offline, and then you've got requests sent. Clone and Lomrin haven't really been online much, so yeah, that's a thing. Now, first of all, it shows what your current setup is. So I've got a trial run at 7 wins. I'm currently second on ranked and at level 35. Now, if you click someone else, hey, it shows it for everyone. This is actually really good. It shows what their trials are at, where their rank is at, so you don't have to go searching for them, and their level. So you get to compare yourself to your friends, which I actually think is really cool. So here we've got Snellion with his 38 level there. Now, something is also... God damn it, Rajan, I was just going to use you as a... whatever, anyway, if there was someone who wasn't in a game right now, you can challenge them, and directly you can just straight up challenge them when it comes up, or you can chat with them at any point. Now if you press the chat button, this comes up, you send them a message, and yeah. Now, sorry about that. Anyway, so there are a couple issues with how this works. A good thing is that all of your respective chats come up at the bottom, so if I open chat with someone else, there's 2 now, and I can switch between them at will. The problem I have is, well, there's a couple. First things first, if you just want to minimize, you have to click this one, which sounds okay, and if you click this one, it gets rid of it entirely. If I just open that again. That sounds okay, but you can't minimize it by clicking this. This is really irritating, and you can't minimize, this is fine, because you immediately put your mouse in the middle and there's the big X, but this is a bit of a smaller X that's harder to click. And in-game, which actually I'll just use this opportunity to show now. First of all, this is another complaint. You can't chat while queuing at all, which is one of the complaints I have, and one of the reasons I'm still using Skype to chat a lot of the time, because the main time you want to chat with someone is in-game and in loading screens. And you can't really do either, because it's really flawed in-game. So, if I just go into a game against the AI, yeah, a couple graphical glitches, but that's because there was a new patch, kind of expect. This comes up. Now, this is useful, because you can just click this button and it minimizes it, just for a bit, or you can click, if you hold it and move away, it minimizes, or you can click the screen to minimize it. That's useful. The problem is that if you get a message, there's no notification that comes up when you're in-game, which means you have to keep checking your chat every 3 seconds. So that's an issue there. Now, the notification out of game is this little blue plume type thing that comes up with a number on it, and apparently I got a quest reward. Alright. Anyway, it's this little blue thing that comes up, and you can see that you've got a new message. It's an okay chat system. It's not very good. It's nowhere near as good as Hearthstone's. Not even close. And honestly, I think I'll still be using Skype. It is useful for tournaments. That is a good point. Not being able to communicate properly in games since there's no notifications is bad. But in general, it's a good system that is kind of necessary. So I'm happy this exists. And give me a sec, I'm actually just going to get a quick drink of water. Normally I don't do this in videos, but I'm in a hurry to record this, so yeah. Three things that I don't normally do. Get up while recording, because normally I can just take multiple cuts, so it's fine. And having to take a drink while recording. That's not something I normally do. And also, I guess, recording in a hurry. But anyway. So, that's my basic thing on the friends list. As I said, it's useful, but it could be better. Text search is the next thing here, which means we go into collection. This is very, very useful, because you can even search for creature types, which is just useful. It searches for anything in the text or anything like that, so it's very, very nice. Now, besides that, this is useful for everything apart from one issue. It's covering some of these cards, which makes it harder to read them without doing this, or even harder just to look at them. Now, this is not a big deal, but it could very easily be fixed just by putting this quick search option. Probably, I mean, you could rearrange this a little bit, but you could like put the, if you really wanted to, you could put it up here, and then put something else here, or move this across a bit and put that there. Make it part of the interface itself, so just make this bigger, so it goes up there, and the search button is on the side. The point is, I don't think it should cover any cards. It's not that bad, though. That's not really a gripe that is that meaningful. The actual search bar is an amazing feature. I'm really happy it's in the game now. UI visual update made to the main screen. Actually, haven't noticed much of this. I mean, one that I did notice is that with the deck builder and such, you now click aspects to filter them in, as opposed to before where it was like this, and you had to like remove everything one by one to get your aspect you wanted, whereas now it starts with everything. It starts, like, if you don't select anything, everything's involved, whereas as soon as you select one, it just takes you that color. So that's a nice improvement right there. Icons for the new heroes, as opposed to them all having the little snowflake placeholder thing, so that's good. Card changes. Now, for this, I have it on the favorites section, which I probably don't use that much. So, first things first, path got changed completely. It's now 3 mana. You can keep creatures under the path for 0 mana cost, and you can keep stashing up more and more and more creatures if you want to. And whenever it's destroyed, or at the beginning of your turn, you can then pay 1, which means you don't have to pay 2 mana up front. Well, you have to pay 3, but you don't have to pay 4 up front. And it means that it's less risky in the late game since you can get your creature back. In the early game, it's still risky though, because if you play it on 3 and put something under the path and they kill it, if you don't pay 1, you can't get your creature back. So it's very risky there. Now, this, and also the bonuses are the same, My Emblem and Swift. So, this was a massive buff to path. Is it enough? At first I thought it would be. It turns out that it isn't in the decks I've been trying. I may have been trying the wrong stuff, and maybe I'm even going in the wrong approach. Maybe it only should be a 1 of or a 2 of maximum, just as an alternate way of winning. Kind of like Lamp is in some decks, as opposed to like the focus of the deck. And I think that may be correct, because while it's more powerful now, it costs 3 mana. Realistically, it costs 4, and you're doing nothing until the start of your next turn. Why do I say it costs 4? Because if you don't have a mana and they kill it, they kill the creature as well, so you need that extra mana up, like, permanently, on path. Otherwise, if they kill it, you're screwed. So it costs 4 mana. The other issue with it, so it's massive tempo loss. The other issue is order isn't exactly the best color right now, especially to do with the multicolor decks. There are 3 colors that are not very splashable. Green, or I guess green, yellow, black, but it's weird how I call nature green, but then the other ones by their names. So yeah, you've got Nature, Order, Corruption. Corruption is not splashable because all of their good cards are double Corruption. And Order, basically they have a lot of mono Order related ramp stuff, and Angels are all double Order, so you need those. And that's all the good cards. So you can't really splash Order either, and as a result, Order just doesn't work very well with the secondary color anyway, so a lot of Order decks are just mono. And then Nature, as I discovered, gets weaker if you, at least with Advanced Never, it gets weaker if you add another color, and it doesn't really add anything to any other color when you splash it. Basically, you just get Halderia Rider and Tornado Outbreak and Landslide, but there's usually better options in that color that would add consistency to the deck since you're not playing a second color. So that's a thing. Order is, I think, the worst offender here because alright, so you're splashing Path. What else do you splash in Order? Pacify? And that's it? Cavalry Field Captain, maybe? Well, if you're playing an aggressive deck with Path, yeah, sure, but I don't think you can take the tempo loss. So you're playing like a, Control Cataclysm deck, you put it under the Path, never pay for it, and then Cataclysm? Is that what you're doing? I could see that, but then you're not going to be running Cavalry Field Captain. You might run Pacify, so you're running probably 2 Path, 3 Pacify as your only order in the entire deck. And that's the problem with Path. It's not the card itself, it's the aspect it's in. You need to figure out how much you want to actually dedicate to an Order Splash since the card quality you're getting from it is not very high. Spectral Aura is now a 3-3. It's got 3 energy starting. This is actually a nice trial card now. It's really good in trials. This also buffed the starter deck a bit, which is kind of amusing. It was terrible. I remember when this card was a 2-3 for double blue. And then it was a 2-3 for single blue, and 1 generic, and then now it's a 3-3. Out of 3-3, the body's decent. It's basically the same thing as a Halderia Rider, but instead of Swift, it has Flying. Is that better or worse? I think Swift is better, but I mean, it's a different aspect. But yeah, Orion's actually a decent card now. I actually think it's a half-decent card. I don't think it's constructed playable, but I think it's a half-decent card, and that's what you need for trials. And yeah, it can actually be a pain in the neck for Corruption. Not many people are playing Corruption right now, but if they were, then you could consider it. Dust Titan. Another pain for Corruption. Dust Titan was completely useless before. It was basically, it cost you infinite mana and then shrinked itself over time and died to everything. And yeah, that's what it was. It was like I mean, we'll show the mana difference here, but it's got the same aspect requirements as it used to. It now costs 4 mana. It's a 3-3 with 4 energy starting. Start of your turn, gain +1 energy, like a lot of the other energy cards in Wisdom. Whenever Dust Titan gains energy, put a mic counter on it, and you still have the same ability of Shock. However, its stats are not tied to its energy anymore. So what you can do is play Dust Titan, shock 2 creatures, and get a 3-3 Dust Titan. To give you an idea, that would take 7 mana before. It took 7 mana to do that before, now it takes 4. On top of that, it didn't gain energy on its own. This is something which, first of all, if you see this in Trials, you pick it. It kills them on its own. You play it, you shock 2 different creatures. If you're against green or something like that with a lot of Swift, so basically if you're against green and you don't want to decide to a random Halderia Rider, put it in the back row. Next turn it's a 4-4, move it forward. Something else you can do, play it, shock something. Next turn, shock it. Next turn, shock it, because you gained 2 energy since then, and you now have a 5-5. This is a brutal card. It's also very good with Advanced Darius, because you can play it on your normal Advanced Darius turn, shock 2 creatures, and then use your hero power next turn to kill the small stuff, and then shock the surviving creature on the turn after since you've gained 2 more energy. On top of that, stops them from blocking at all. It's a close to unblockable win condition. And more importantly, it's a reason to go double blue. We've actually had an issue with this. The only reason to go double blue was basically Lamp and Darius, I guess. Advanced Darius has been gaining some traction recently. Dust Titan helps. He also works well with Ziara. That's what Snellion played to rank 1 recently. Was a Wisdom Corruption control deck that was using Ziara with Advanced Darius to do 2 AoE instead of 1. But Dust Titan also helps. Same aspect requirements. In fact, there may be a Tempo Wisdom deck with 3 levels. Like, base Wisdom with a second color. Maybe base Blue with some red for, like, Fire Blast. I could see that as a deck. And that's something we were asking for. Is like, we need a reason to go double blue. And this is one of the reasons to go double blue. This card is a monster at the moment. It'll definitely see some constructed play. I don't know where and how much, but it'll definitely see some, and it's a monster in Trials right now. Definite buff. Massive buff. Offering Yard Priest. This replaced a certain graveyard-dependent shaman. 2 mana, 1 level, since this is technically a new card. 1/1 with 2 speed, it's a shaman. And an orc, but mostly just a shaman. Offering Yard Priest has +1/+1 for each totem you control and each totem in your graveyard. So basically, instead of relying on shamans, it relies on totems. Which I would actually say is better in terms of synergy. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about this because it's not that powerful on its own. Although I actually think that people are underestimating this. If you get this to like a 4/4, like, you're in a good spot right there. 4/4 that does 2 damage to like 1 creature when you play it and draws 2 cards, I will take it. Not to mention the fact that, like, getting totems in your graveyard, that's easy. People kill them. So you just need to play a totem at some point, or to mill yourself or something. But anyway, the point is that you can play it with Swift and hit him in the face. So in fact, if it's not nature, who can stop that? Like, they could pacify it, I guess, but you just drew 2 cards. So unless you're his Order or Nature, they really can't stop that at instant speed. They can't stop like an 8/8. They need like double Flash Freeze or something. And these are like not, like, they're played cards, but they're not massively played cards. Like, double Flash Freeze is very unlikely. Flash Freeze is a played card, but not always as a 4-off, and often it will be used early in the game, not late in the game. So with the Swift Totem, it's a reason to play the Swift Totem as a one-off. Just play your Swift Totem late game, and then play 3... Wait, how much energy does that thing actually have? Is it 3 or 2? Anyway, the point is that you can use either one... Actually, no, I really need to check this. It is 3. Okay, I'm not insane. The thing about Totem of Swiftness is that no one plays Totem of Swiftness. So you just kind of forget what it actually is. But yeah, it's 3 energy, so I could actually see playing a totem deck where you just have 1 Totem of Swiftness, or maybe 2, and then you just play 3 Offering Yard Priest and hit him in the face with like 20 damage. I could see that. Is it good enough to make Shamans good? Probably not. Do I care that much? Kind of. Shamans is fun. Like, a really fun deck. So, I might try some Shamans in the future. We'll see. I think it's better than the old version. It's just you can't do the, like, play it, bounce it, play it, bounce it, play it, thing like that. Which the old Shaman deck Rajan actually made splashed green for. It was just bouncing your Shamans and replaying them. Alright, onto the Minion now. No changes in corruption. Or nature. Word of Power finally got a rework. And it's actually worse than before. It may not be worse than before, but it's kind of close. So it now costs 2 mana, so all the Word of cards cost 2, which I am okay with. 2 and 1 level, dependent on levels. I'm okay with this. Each hero gains an empty mana crystal for each of your Dominion levels. Draw a card. Now, if this was still an instant, it'd be really good, but it's not. It's just a normal spell now. So you play it, and then your opponent screws you over. Alright, there's a couple problems with this card. First of all, there's no reason to go above 2 Dominion levels ever. I'm not joking. There's no reason. Unless you're playing like Mono Dominion with Karthus. But what do you need that much mana for that you're going like massive amounts of extra mana early that isn't going to screw you over? Like Cataclysm? It's like, hey guys, I have a turn 6 Cataclysm now. Or turn 5 Cataclysm again. Yay! As opposed to what it is now, which is 7. But that just doesn't seem worth it. Like, if there's some combo deck, like, if you're playing combo with dragons, maybe, but you only gain 2 mana from it, so it only actually accelerates you by 2 turns. And at that point, you've got to, like, Mind Extort your opponent, or have, like, a Bloodborne Matriarch on the board, Mind Extort its Fireball, have, like, backup against a Rage deck, because otherwise it'll just burn you to death. So, and most decks can make use of their mana. They all have mana sinks and hero powers or something similar. So, I really don't like Word of Power. I think someone might find a home for it, but the fact your opponent gets the benefit first is really brutal. Alright, last in the card balancing, but certainly not least, Blood-Seeking Mutant, arguably the best card to come out of this patch. In fact, Bloodseeker Mutant got changed to a 2/2, which sounds like a nerf at first. However, his ability got a rework. Instead of at the beginning of your turn, it's once each turn. Which means that as soon as you play him, it happens. You kill something, you give something a weakness counter, you get a Might Emblem. But there's another buff here. He still can't target vampires, but he doesn't bounce himself when he can't, like, use his ability on someone. So now, I know that the Fuzz was messing around with this since I was talking to him yesterday, but Bloodseeker Mutant plus Namira's Blessing is an absolute nightmare. You can't target it, and it eats through your entire board. Very slowly, I might add, but it does do it. And Bloodseeker Mutant is now a very, very good splashable card. It kills something immediately, it can block, it will run through an Advanced Never board. If you get 2 or 3 of them out, you basically win against Advanced Never. But the main thing is, this has actually been called Baby Karthus, or Mini Karthus, or Karthus' younger brother. I like all of these nicknames that come out of card game communities. I'm going with Baby Karthus. That's really funny to me. It's just 2 less aspect, doesn't always kill, but it does it every turn, and it slowly gets bigger, it doesn't gain any life, things like that. But it's a Mini Karthus, and it's a splashable Karthus as well. That's the thing about it. Karthus is 2 Dominion levels, this is only 1. And it's at 4 mana, 2 levels, which means that it is at the perfect splashing point. I've splashed Haldir Rider before. I know how to splash for like 4 mana cards. You need like 7 shrines, 8 shrines. You can get away with 7 shrines of that color if you're just splashing cards at 4 mana. You can do it, as long as you don't need to go double of a color earlier. And it actually has added some interesting ideas as far as decks goes, because you can just splash for just Mutant. Like, people were splashing for just Helm of Dominion to beat other Phoenixes in red decks. And why could you do it? Well, because it's 4 mana, which means you've already drawn 3 times with shrines. You've had like 4 Divine Offerings, or 5 Divine Offerings even, or 6. Usually, depending on your starting hand, probably 3 or 4 Divine Offerings to get your splash color shrine. And so you can always splash things at that level for only 7 shrines. I've done 6, it's a bit risky, but 7 or 8 is very easy to get the splash on. Very easy. Now, Mutant, I don't think he's overpowered. I don't think he's a very, very good aggro stop, and he's just really good in general now. He's also a monster in Trials. An uncommon monster in Trials, I might add. So, a very, very good card. Now, as far as the rest of the patch goes, they fixed some of the wording. Once each your turn is now once per turn, since it means the same thing. It was just kind of a weird thing. At the end of your turn is now worded end of turn. Yeah, I actually don't know if this is like... I don't know if that actually changes the mechanics. There's 2 other card changes that I wanted to go over briefly. There's one to a hero as well. But Disarm is now not this combat, it's until end of turn. I don't know if this makes a big difference at all. I guess... I honestly don't... I mean, you can use it whenever. Like, you can use it whenever you like now, which means that you can use it with Assassinate, that's a thing. So, it doesn't have to be used on attacking creatures. But, I don't know, is Disarm playable now? Possibly. I mean, I've had some people advocating Disarm for a while, but I guess you could use it with Assassinate, but I don't know. It's a strange change. It might increase its playability a little bit. Now, the end of your turn versus end of turn thing, I'm wondering if that actually changes any effects. Because if you used it on his turn, end of turn means the end of his turn, whereas end of your turn would be his turn, then your turn. So I don't know if that changes anything. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I don't think they changed the mechanic. I just think they changed the wording. Before we get on to the last card change, which is a hero change, the server disconnect for inactivity is now 45 minutes, which is why I can be in Deck Builder for this long without disconnecting. Yeah, this was a common gripe of like every single person who made videos. You would perpetually disconnect while doing anything deck tech related because you'd be in the menus for more than 15 minutes. What else was annoying is that you could be disconnected for inactivity while queuing. Basically, if you've ever queued at like 2 in the morning or something, which happens from time to time. But anyway, basically, the two groups of players are Europeans and Americans. But in the week, most people are either working or going to school or something, so no one's playing at around 1 or 2 in the morning at all. So you could get like 20-minute queues and you'd be disconnected in the middle because you're the only person actually online. This would happen and was so annoying. So I'm glad they've changed that. Now, the last change of the patch is to a hero, Burke. Burke's cooldown got changed from 4 to 3. I am happy about this. It was completely worthless. Now, it's still worse than Advanced Ash. However, it is very good in Trials. It's not Advanced Ash, but it's good in Trials. I actually did a trial run with this and got 7 wins, and my 3 losses were all to very powerful decks, and I had a slightly above average, but not like a godlike deck, slightly above average deck, and the hero power actually kind of carried me through a couple of my games. It's a good hero power now. It's always a 2-for-1 in that format. Works with things like Fire Blast. If you're lucky enough to get one of those, you can actually deal 5 to one thing, 3 to another, which will kill 2 targets pretty reliably, as long as they're on the front row. It also makes your opponent play differently, and yes, it doesn't affect flying creatures. However, if they're moving their stuff back that isn't flying, they can't attack the block with it. This is a big deal. So the hero power is actually quite powerful in Trials now with the 3 cooldown. In Constructed, it's still being held down by Advanced Ash, who is currently annihilating, living up to his name there, everything. Particularly with red heroes, where if you're playing either Burke or his basic Zash, everyone looks at you and says, why aren't you playing Advanced Zash? Which is a valid argument. Advanced Zash is very, very good, and he's here to stay, at least for this patch. We'll have to see how the meta actually stabilizes. I'm going to the next patch. I've got a feeling that next month we're going to see changes to Advanced Neva and Advanced Zash. I think Advanced Zash just needs a bit of a nerf. I think Advanced Neva might need a redesign or like a creature limit. We'll see, because they're both just really above the curve of everything right now. And as soon as they nerf Advanced Zash, Advanced Neva is going to go straight through everyone. So we'll see how that works. However, for this patch, would be nice to see a couple other changes, a couple extra ones, but it's a good patch. Like, they made Path arguably playable, they made Dust Titan playable, Mutant, Offering Yard Priest, I actually want to try, Word of Power not so much, and Alright is now playable in Trials. So, honestly, I'm happy with this patch. We'll have to see where it goes, and when I do my meta report at the end of the season, I guess I'll refer back to this video with any of these cards making a big impact in the metagame. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, want to ask me any questions relevant to the changes, put it in the comment section below. But as for now, this has been Jotto, signing off.